Ahoy, me hearties! Are you ready for a good show?
Yeah. I'm going to eat this. I'm sorry.
It's Pirates Day with Kristen and Rebecca.
Yay!
Yes, we are silly girls, but we're enjoying Halloween spirit season. So here we are on Pirates Day at Rabell. Actually, I have to take off my hat so I can put
Good. I can take mine
this
off
on, and we can start the show.
That's right.
Alrighty,
so
thank you for
Rabell
joining
Realty
us,
Group
right?
is running a contest, and you can submit and follow the rules that are online. Today's theme is pirate, and tomorrow is nerds. Yay! Hey, Jamie. Hi, Karen, Mom, whatever you would like to be called. But yeah, so it's Pirate Day. Tomorrow is Nerds Day.
We've got the calendar up a little later, so we'll show that to you. And like she's saying, the contest is, what is it, Rebecca?
I don't remember, but it's always fun. And you could just follow along and see our
pictures. Yes, or just follow along. We've got a great video that we just posted of getting here.
That's on the Rabell TikTok.
In our pirate fashion on the Rabell TikTok. So go check it out. It's a lot of fun. Of course, after our show.
Right.
Let's get on with it now.
All right.
All right. We got the Monday market moment. It's like a minute.
All right, friends, let's take a look and see what's happening in North Central Florida's real estate market. So,
yay, my favorite one when we compare the two.
Yes. Okay. So it looks like we are looking at August versus September because it's the first Monday that we've had a full week at least. And everything should be compiled and in.
Kind of technically.
Yep. So we're going to mix it up and we're going to start in St. Augustine. And look at August versus September. And it's not anything that you wouldn't expect to see. As we always talk about, it is a little slower in the months of September. So you've got 53 closings in September versus 70 in August. Totally normal.
Right.
Nothing unexpected. From there, we're going to boogie over to Gainesville. To Gainesville.
What's the dance word for like pirate dance? I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Let me look that up.
Yes, look that up. All right. So Gainesville, you had 394 closed in August and 375 in September. So pretty steady, even though it is typically a slower time of year. And I know a lot of the lenders I spoke to, said they definitely felt that tapering off as well as agents. So we'll see what happens in October. From there, we're going to jump south to Tampa Hillsborough and see that in August, they had 1,106 listings closed versus 1,147. So Hillsborough actually picked up. So very interesting to see there. That explains why there's nothing on the market.
Right. We'll talk about that a little later also with the Tampa Hillsborough area.
And then
what's going on down there.
Oh, yeah. Lots of things happening. And then you've got Ocala Marion. You've got 834 in August.
Drop.
Yep. And then September 815. So not a huge drop. Actually, things are way more close in number than I was expecting.
That's why we like to show these numbers. We think, it's gone down so much in the slow season. It really isn't. And I mean, if you talk to realtors, we're not slowed down. It's just a slightly different market than what it was before. We're seeing, things take a little longer. I think that's the bigger part right now. Still all over. All right. I don't think we have any dance songs or dance words for pirates. So that's all right. Just don't get marooned without any of this.
That's right. Man, I don't know. That looks like a pretty low amount. We might be in trouble.
That's mine then.
Oh, man.
All right, so we've got another slide to show you the most recent activity. And
there you go.
So this week, or a week's worth of, or the month's worth of activity. So it's day 11.
So, yep, day
12,
11.
Something like that. Yeah.
Let's see. In St. Augustine, you have 90.
That's that special number. We don't really know if it's 90. It was 85 last week.
Yes. So
it's always
pending,
90.
You've got 14, closed 9. So they're averaging at least one
the
a
day.
The market is scary. I know. I love that. Gainesville, we've got 71 active. I'll be honest, with us switching to Stellar, I don't really know how accurate the Gainesville
we're probably not going to
either.
be very accurate. We'll also talk about that a little later.
Yep.
But yeah,
I'm getting ahead of myself. So you've got 71 active in Gainesville for the month of October, 125 pending, and 65 closing. So, and some of that's probably a little bit of carryover.
I think that Amanda, who does our numbers, she actually stayed over in Stellar. So, there really might be like a with active and pended 4 or 5 different there, because we did just switch over, and like I said, we'll talk about it a little later. So it shouldn't be too far off if she used our old Paragon.
Yep.
MLS.
So, and then we've got Ocala Marion. You've got 206 active for the month of October, 308 pending already, and 185 closed. And then you've got, Tampa Hillsborough, 270 active, 420 pending, and 246 closed.
I mean, it just looks like, we're still chugging along pretty quickly. Not a lot on the market, and, it's keeping up with the closed. So every time we activate something, we've closed something all over, it looks like. And then, we're pending all the time. So 420, that number for you Grateful Dead friends. But yeah, so it just looks like the same that we've seen all year. So when we say that bubble, it's not really a bubble. A lot of people keep talking about that bubble. It really isn't. Their favorite workout is blinking. We've got the jokester. That was a good one, Susan.
Man,
she probably came up with that too.
Zoomed in with the dad joke. I wasn't even expecting
Susan
that.
is like the best dad joke maker ever. Yeah, she's really good at that. That was a good one, Susan.
That was like,
keep them coming. Keep them coming.
I know.
Right on. So we'll get back to the market a little bit, but let's talk about, we love decor. We love talking about decor and real estate.
It's an important part.
And so there was, there's always these articles. And again, I think this is like my favorite grand millennial style if you talk about it. But, we do like to make sure that we mention where we got these from or what they are. So this is William Morris wall covering. And there's this designer, Dee Murphy out of LA. And she was talking about mixing and matching different patterns and styles. And, this has been around, for quite a few years, because we started seeing, we've talked about wicker and, baskets and different, wallpapers kind of come back in some places, not necessarily here, but also textures have come back, like mixing and maxing.
Is this the article that I sent about layering and how they were talking about how to layer things?
Well, Dee Murphy was talking about, and this is how she layered it. But then there was another article about, so 8 tips for mixing patterns in your home decor. And I love it. It was really with this. So if we want to show that one, we can kind of talk about it. The next slide. So incorporating different sizes. So when it comes to patterns, you don't want to have like the same size pattern because it's just too much. So as you saw with that one picture, there's, a big pattern all over, but then nothing else really had a huge patterns. And so they say, if it's a bunch of huge ones, leave it in something small, like a pillow, right? That one was the entire wall. So you don't want to get too crazy with all of your other furniture or decor, tchotchkes, everything like that. So I think, it's just incorporating the different sizes so you don't overwhelm your room, especially if your room's a smaller room. So use similar colors. Would you? I think it's more like tonal, like be in the same tone, and don't go too far out of, too many colors that clash. But I think that's pretty, anybody would know that, you would think. But I guess there's people out there who just throw stuff together and don't realize that. So if you want to be a good designer and you're getting your house ready to sell, or you're getting your house ready, to love it with these these ideas, these are just the tips for you. So you want to talk about some others?
Sure. Blending simple and complex patterns together. I'll be honest, I am not a pattern person. So to me, I'm like, I have no idea what to tell you there. I'm more of a layering. Like I like different layers, and I do use some. I was thinking when I was looking at that picture, because even the rattan that they have there has like a little pattern in it.
Right. Yeah. So we can see it on our other screen here.
But I always think of that as texture. When I'm looking at the different textures in the room. And actually, as I'm thinking about it, I'm like, oh, my living room pillows do have pattern, but it's all the same color. So just being simple, even though all the pillows have patterns, they're all the same color as the pillow, so it all is very blended.
Right. And I think what you all can't see anymore with that and what they're saying with blending simple and complex, the wall is very complex, so everything else is simpler, but there is a piece of furniture in there that does have a little simpler, you can see the hutch piece that has a simpler look to it, and so, or a simpler style, but there's still a pattern on there. So, and this is not for the Jamies who want minimalism. This is somebody who's really into this. This is a big thing going on in other, the bigger cities right now. And again, it's the grand millennial style or a version of it. So it's bringing simplistic with, this exciting mixture of design elements and patterns and things. But to keep it simple, the next one is choosing a few. Right. You don't want everything to be a pattern. That would just look like a hot mess.
Providing contrast, which I think is big. I mean, that picture had light wood with dark wood mixed. And I'm a light wood. I prefer light wood, although there are some pieces that are dark wood, but just kind of providing a little bit of contrast and creating a visual balance, which I think is so important. Even if you're keeping it light and bright, you have to have something in the room that'll be kind of a contrast.
Yeah, you just don't want to overwhelm. And I think all of these kind of are the same thing over and over again. If you ask me, like providing contrast, choosing a few, blending simple and complex, incorporating the different sizes. It's basically the same idea over and over again, so it doesn't become too overwhelming, so that you can create that visual balance.
I like how I get this one. Careful with prints. I'm the one that doesn't even really use prints. Like prints,
Again, it's like the right balance. I don't want to name names here because it's not about being negative, but the builder whose wife is a designer, and you go in and it's just like animal print all over. She does a really good job, and she's really showcasing her design, right, and her furniture that she's selling you. But, sometimes it does feel like you're going into like a professor's house who's traveled the world, and you see, the zebra design over here and the tiger design over there, and it's a little much. It's beautiful, but it's a little much. I'm sure some of you who know Gainesville builders know who I'm talking about. But you do have to be careful with prints because too much can be really too much. And then know what doesn't go. I
think that's hard for people.
I think that would be hard for people who are trying it out. So what I would say, if you're trying this out, go simple at first, and then you can add in. And just, again, I would think not to, know with what doesn't go is by basically like knowing that's the wrong contrasting color or the wrong color scheme that doesn't match, or just too many prints at once. So yeah, but we love, design and what's happening right now. And I think this has been big for the past couple of years, because when I looked it up and was, after you sent it and looking it up, I found it everywhere for the past 4 or 5 years. So it's been the continual style these days. So enjoy. Happy designing. What do we have next? Anything? Do we want to take a break?
It's halfway
All right,
through.
let's do it. Let's take a break.
All right.
That goes fast.
Be right back.
Look no further than our own backyard in Gainesville to discover endless walking trails and wildlife. Gainesville is home to 3 wildlife refuges that have trails running right through natural beauty conservation lands and historical Floridian culture. Sweetwater Wetlands consist of over 125 acres of man-made wetlands and ponds with accessible walking trails and observation decks. The wetland parks protect water quality in the Alachua Sink and Florida aquifer and filters out pollutant and harmful nutrients. The Sweetwater Wetlands offer 3.5 miles of trails to outdoor enthusiasts eager to spot a Florida cracker horse, alligator, or exotic bird. Leave your pets at home for this visit to avoid disturbing the natural habitat of wildlife. Sweetwater Wetlands are part of a 21,000-acre Florida state park known as Payne's Prairie. Located between Micanopy and Gainesville, Payne's Prairie is home to over 300 species of birds, deer, alligator, bisons, and wild horses, all visible from one of the park's 8 walking trails. Seminole Indians once occupied a village along the vast savanna that is now called Payne's Prairie Preserve. There is a 16-mile paved trail within Payne's Prairie known as the Gainesville Hawthorne State Trail. Once a rail bed turned greenway, the trail was formerly active with locomotives. Numerous interpretive panels pepper the trail to explain the area's historical significance as walkers enjoy the paths. This recreational trail offers a 50-foot-high observation tower so visitors can take in the panoramic views, observe native plants and wildlife, and marvel at the trail's history.
All right, you sea dogs and scallywags, we're back. Thanks for joining us again. That was a great little video. Good job, Rebecca, on that one. Yeah,
Thanks, Mom.
Look at that. Love it. I love that part of Gainesville. So pretty. It's so nice that they did that.
And thanks to Short Media for making such a tongue twister for me with all their. They hired a new copywriter, and she
good.
She has it in for me. I have to read those like 20 times, and there's a lot of outtakes.
Yeah,
so I'd love to see a blooper reel.
A few times. You've taken over, so good
Lord.
thing. All right, well, we got more affordable housing talk, it looks like.
Are we talking about Gainesville or Tampa
or
all of them?
You were talking about, really what is affordable housing?
Well, so that started because for those that live in Gainesville, and I do follow some of it in Tampa and a lot more in St. Augustine and Gainesville, honestly, than Tampa, but I'm starting to read more. In Ocala, I'll be honest, your groups on Facebook that I find and follow, they don't talk a whole lot about any of this stuff.
I think because there's still plenty of affordable housing there, and that's more.
But St. Augustine and Gainesville, it's a big topic, and Tampa, and I know Gainesville specifically is where I had read. So the city of Gainesville was announcing through, I believe it was the Sun and maybe the city's website, and there were just a ton of comments on Facebook about, they basically are building 15 units and they're affordable housing, and everybody wanted to know, well, what is affordable housing and what does that mean? Because to me, it's a relative term. What's affordable to me and what's affordable to you and what's affordable to all of you might be different.
Right. So they're trying to make a clear definition based off of.
And somebody gave a really good definition, and they said it should be 30% of basically your take-home pay should be what is affordable. And they were going off the median average, of what people earn.
Make,
right. Because one person was like, well, for me, affordable would be $650, and one person was like, well, I need something at $900, and so it's like I said, it's relative. But the cities and the counties and all these people throw out these in the the larger government, like the national. I'm trying to think. I can't even think right now. Whatever you call it, all the people up in Washington, they're like, oh, affordable housing, because it's a buzzword. To me, it is purely a buzzword. Because, like I said, it means something different to everybody.
And in different areas, it's completely different because it's based off of the mean.
And that was the person's argument because people were like, affordable housing should be this. So somebody else gave another very good argument, and they said that you should be able to, and this kind of goes back to calculating the income and all that, but it was taking like what minimum wage was in your area, calculating what they make for the year, and then that would be what affordable was. But I actually prefer the median, the average, because you can't.
Median average is slightly different, but they're close enough, right?
Right. So, we usually within a little variance, but because you can't calculate based on every person. But that was the whole argument was, do you go to the lowest earner and see what theirs are, and that's affordable housing, or do you go towards the average? Obviously, you're not going to go towards the higher side of it. And they try to figure out what that is. But what's hard is that they're limited. And so the argument was that, there needs to be more of this. But how can there be more of this when we live in an area in Gainesville where you have the highest property taxes in the state, where you have the highest electric or utility bills in the state?
Thanks, Gainesville.
Thanks, Gainesville. So even though you might have, 15 new affordable units, you're running into the issue of, well, landlords can't lower their rents because it's costing them $500 a month in property taxes. So if you have property taxes plus a mortgage, plus insurance, plus regular repairs and maintenance,
your GRU bills, and everything else.
You're a landlord. You're looking at easily a quick $900, and then. What about being able to improve the property?
So what are they saying about factoring in those numbers that are specific to Gainesville?
We're in a
quandary.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that. I was also going to say quagmire, but I didn't want to go on that direction. But and so the other problem that we're seeing in Gainesville is that a lot of landlords are ticked off with the city and they're selling the property, which is creating shrinkage in the market. So now you've got people that are looking for rentals. They can't find rentals. Rentals are inching up higher and higher in price. I have this conversation with people almost daily, yes, where they're like, I can't find anything in Gainesville to rent. What do you have available? And I'm like, I don't have anything. I have one place. I honestly have an applicant on it. And people are still wanting to see it because they're hoping that person will not rent it. Yeah. So it's kind of a vicious cycle, and there's only a few ways to correct it. I'm not going to get
and
into
not everyone
here.
is going to agree.
Right.
Now, next week, we're going to have Patrick Dodds from United Way on, and we're going to talk the entire time about affordable housing.
Yay.
And I think this is coming up over and over and over again, and we're happy to have him on here and talk about how United Way sees it, because they do help lots of different organizations, but it's really to help, those in dire need for housing. And so they're trying to, find property managers, landlords, owners of extra properties to see if they'll work with what they deem as affordable housing need, the renters who need this, what they deem as affordable housing. So we'll talk about this probably throughout the rest of the year, but next week we'll have Patrick on and talk about it. I'd like to actually flip over some slides.
Yes.
Because I think they're a little out of order. So not this one. Can you go to the Tampa one? Because I think this still goes with it. Now,
Yes.
Tampa is saying this first. But what you just said with what's happening in Gainesville strictly, this is not happening in any other area of Florida. And that's, the landlord, issue that we're having right now, the ordinance that Gainesville putting on us that just started October 1st, which we'll really see in this next year play out for owners, and renters and property managers like ourselves. But in Tampa, most recently, they're talking about a rent freeze because the rents are going so astronomically high that the average renter cannot find housing. And what else did you read about that?
I don't know. I'm just looking at that picture and I'm like, it's so beautiful,
It's beautiful there.
I
So,
know.
it's a bigger city. There's a way wealthier. I mean, Gainesville has become very affluent with the University of Florida, and the doctors coming and physicians, and we've just become a very expensive area. But Tampa's always been like that, and so there is a huge difference in impoverished versus affluent.
And Tampa's a much larger area also. They have a much more extensive, they have trolleys and they have buses. So it's a little different to maneuver. I mean, to me, this reminds me of kind of New York City with their rent-controlled apartments.
Right.
I don't know enough about rent-controlled apartments. I've never lived anywhere that had them. I don't know, how that all works. I'd have to read up on it, but it will be interesting to see what they do and how it affects the city and what their landlords do.
I think this is happening pretty much in all the cities, but really I think in Florida, Tampa is really the biggest one that's coming in action for it. And I think the renters, and what this is doing is that the renters are creating unions to try to stop landlords and owners from raising their rates.
But what do you do when inflation is hitting and your insurance is higher, repairs
and people
and
have
maintenance are
been
higher?
in their houses, in these houses, not paying rent and not being evicted, and so they're finally being able to start evictions, and now those people cannot go and find houses. Oh, let's see, Karen, you had over 200 inquiries when you posted your rental, and some offered to pay more than I was asking. So
we're not talking until you post that 30-day notice on that tenant that's giving you a headache.
We've also, and I don't even know about that, but we've also talked about this before, and it looks like Karen's dealing with that down in Tampa, in the Tampa area, and you're not even in the city of Tampa, right?
Nah, she's in old Zephyr Hills.
Right, and so if her rental's in Zephyr Hills, it's even happening in the outskirts. But remember, we were talking about how in some of the bigger cities, just like we were in sales, they are dealing with multi-offer situations. And so that, just like it happened with buyers, and like FHA buyers weren't able to buy, USDA buyers, I don't even know where they are right now. And VA buyers, even though they're not technically bad buyers, they just have 0% financing, but they're usually
very strong.
They're usually very strong buyers, but it's perceived as a bad buyer. And then anybody with 5% down conventional, those were being beat out by 20% down conventional
or cash.
And then people making offers 20, 30, 50 higher. Tampa, it was usually, $90,000 to $100,000 higher than the list price. So now that's happening
it's happening in the rent. It even happens
rental.
to us here. So it's
so it's happening around. So it's really pushing out the people who maybe are at their height at $950, right? Which is, I would say, the average rental rate here. They're being pushed out because someone's willing to pay $1,000, or $1,050, $1,200 for these rentals, and depending on where they are and depending on the pricing, they're going even higher. So.
It's going to be interesting. I mean, I don't know if cities are running short on their budget because inflation is hitting, and so you need more money for supplies and different things. I mean, but it all kind of trickles in and works together. whether you want to admit that or not. It does all work hand in hand. So what's happening on the global level with the economy is going to affect what's happening in your local area with your housing. And if supplies and materials and inflation and all that is playing a factor in how a city's budgeting and managing their money, and they need more and they're raising property taxes, or in our case, because the city has rights to GRU, they're also increasing utility rates over and over and over again. If you're involved in the city or you live in the city limits, you 100% need to be following, reading, and voting. By the way, there's a special election coming up in November, so please make sure you get out there and vote, but know who you're voting for. So all of that is affecting the cost, because it's not like landlords are out there rolling over hand over fist. A lot of landowners are people who own one or two or three, like my parents, who have a couple of rentals. They're not getting rich off people. They need to be able to make the mortgage, the property taxes.
A retirement plan that they had that
a little bit of passive income.
Right. And it's just a little bit. It's not this, hundreds of thousands of dollars. They're not, the banks. They're just general people. And so that's who it's affecting. And then it's also affecting the renters who are now, striking against it, creating unions against it, getting really mad. And it just doesn't make for a fun.
We'll be following what you're up to, Tampa.
Yep. So this won't be the only one, but this is the first conversation about it. So we'll keep reading and keep letting you all know. We can go back to that stellar MLS.
I love this. Be patient and kind to your local realtor.
Yes. So there was another realtor who said this today. And it was so true. Be patient and kind to your Gainesville, Alachua County realtors.
Your renters too.
Yes, or your realtors, because we are undergoing a huge change. So last month, the past couple of years, we've been in Paragon MLS. That's where we put all of our listings. That's where we see these active, pended, and closed that we tell you about. Well, we changed over. The main change
We're in
the
process,
but the main change where they turned off Paragon and now started over in Stellar, which is great. We're super excited about it. We're already in Stellar with Tampa and Ocala. So now Gainesville, Alachua County is joining it. So we'll be able to all be there together. And it makes it a lot easier as a realtor to search in areas that sometimes cross over each other. So you're not having to call, or becoming a member of somewhere else just to get that information. And yes, it's all over the internet and these third-party sites, but as realtors, we have to know other information that's not available on the third-party sites. But Paragon and Stellar didn't really talk very well together.
Shocking. Paragon was totally not antiquated and
and so a lot of our listings are not, are sold and pended and active even, are not really moving over correctly. And there were actually a couple of realtors that were saying that their sellers got mad because they thought that they were doing this personally to them and taking their listings and not putting it online and selling it to another realtor so they could get money, which no realtor would ever do. That just sounds absolutely psychotic. And then this weekend I got a call from another Gainesville realtor, and I was kind of like, hold yourself back because you're going to make me lose my mind. But he was really mad because he thought we were doing something shady on the side when really it was just an accidental. All of our agents' numbers wasn't going over, just the office number. So he was calling on a weekend and getting our agent on duty who happened to be in the shower, and he called
the 20 minutes that she was
times in a row. So just be patient with us. It's coming over. I mean, I'm going to a listing appointment right now, and they wanted me to bring numbers, and I'm not really sure if I have every single number because of this change. So don't think anybody's doing anything to hurt you or making any changes for your listings or for your purchases. It's just because we're going to be going through this. It'll probably take a couple weeks to really correct, but this first 2 weeks is going to be really hard on us. So.
But don't worry, Tampa friends and realtors.
Yeah,
your stuff is all fine.
Same
mainly
with
talking to my sister. Your listing is fine because you are already in Stellar, so there was no hiccup or interruption.
Right, there you go.
Now, sign companies in Tampa Hills, that's a different story.
So be kind to your local realtor
Gainesville
in Gainesville, Alachua County. So, all right, we are at our last few minutes, but we wanted to go through some fun things coming up that are going on with Rabell right now. Oh, look at that music. Thanks, Elio.
So here's the contest we were talking about. So we've been dressing up. You can see the different days. I'm trying to see. I see nerds, Disney, witches, and Oh, Barbie is on Friday. That'll be fun. So if you're going to be around in the Hale area or you want to submit a picture to us online, join the fun. We're having a great time with this.
And go watch us on all our social media because we have the TikToks, we have Instagram, we have stories, yes. And we have Facebook stories and Facebook, and we're showing all of our pictures and videos and boomerangs and TikTok. It's super fun and it's really cute. So hopefully you'll join us on there and watch it all. All right. Next up, this Friday, we have the Rabell October Fall Fest. We're not able to call it October Fest.
We don't want to create confusion. The village is not associated or so coming.
Usually it would be the village's Oktoberfest, but because of COVID and fears, they've decided to stop it. And so we're going to go ahead and do it. So you all of our watchers, viewers, if you see this before Friday, if you're not on live, please stop by. We will have live music by The Medicine Show, which is one of our realtors.
I believe we have somebody that's coming to do henna tattoos. Yeah. I don't know what she's charging, but we'll be marketing and advertising that.
We'll have appetizers, beverages. It will be inside, outside. So if you are a little afraid of COVID,
we're shutting down the block.
We are shutting down the block, and it'll be really fun outside, live. And today, this morning, I woke up, I was like, ooh, it's kind of chilly. Now it's hot again right now. This starts later, around 5:30. Right? We
yes,
don't have the time
sorry. No, it is. Yeah. I just was thinking we need to get fans.
Friday 5, but it's really more like 5:30. So go home, get, comfy clothes on, come on over, hang out until about 9, and we'll have the live music and fun. We'll be there. Possibly still dressed up as Barbies. We're not really sure.
We'll not be dressed up as a Barbie.
Probably not. But still. So yeah,
you'll have to go to our TikTok
Friday
for that.
At October 15th, this Friday. That's the party. So hope to see you there.
All right. It looks like we have our top 3 agents for September.
Check it out.
First up.
So
these
girls are on here a lot. So Sky's back on as number one. Our top agent for September. And then we've got Jackie Mercier, our Frenchy Canadian. She's on here, Miami girl also. So she's on as number 2. And our Newberry girl, Meg Elkins. Congratulations, all 3 of you. We're so happy for you. I'll give you some gunshots. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Well, let's get on this.
All right. So if you have a property that you're tired of managing or you have questions about what's happening in the city of Gainesville with rentals, feel free to give us a call at 352-213-6410.
This girl will get it for you. She will.
Call me after the show.
Oh, yeah. And if you are looking to get into real estate in Tampa, Ocala, Gainesville, St. Augustine, you can join our team as Chris and Rebecca, or you can join Rabell. If you're looking to change where you are right now, email us and we'll talk to you. Join at buysellrebell.com.
Looking to get social with us? You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, and YouTube.
Yeah, like us and subscribe. Thank you. All right. And if you don't know we have a blog, now you know. And if you don't know, keep watching this, and we will remind you every single week we have a blog, buysellrebell.com/blog. You can read everything about real estate, local information, all the stuff we talk about will be on there.
And we always like to thank the Fiesta Media. They actually shot our latest TikTok. That was a first for us.
Yeah.
Nice. So if you want to contact them about doing a podcast, you call 352-327-5089.
All right. Thank you, everyone. We'll see you next week. You could see that calendar, see what we're on, what we'll be wearing. We'll be doing this all month. There we go.
There we go. It doesn't fit with the headphones.
Right.
Bye, guys.
All right. Bye, everyone. Don't drown.